Hello, travel partners. It's great to be speaking with you again, and especially to be speaking to you from the beautiful Silver Moon, the newest ship in the Silver Sea Fleet, as we prepare for her naming in just a few hours. We are here in this most extraordinary caldera of Santorini. Just look at this backdrop. Being in Greece, though, reminds me of the many contributions of Greek culture and society have made to the world throughout history. Today, of course, we're seeing athletes from around the world competing in Japan at the Olympics, which began in Greece in 776 BC. Greece is also known for being the birthplace of philosophy. We all know the names of some philosophers, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, etc., but we really think about what they helped create. And their unique contribution was to use knowledge and wisdom to make sense of the world around them. Even the word philosophy comes from the Greek word philosophia, which means love of wisdom. To the great philosophers, philosophy wasn't some esoteric, amorphous concept that was derived out of thin air. It was solid, fact-based examination of the world around them. Those ancient philosophers were also polymaths, and they brought a host of skill and knowledge to their philosophies, not just a narrow specialty. They understood the true understanding required a broad span of knowledge and expertise, not just one narrow specialization. Against this background, it's perhaps not surprising that I'm feeling philosophical during my stay here, especially as I ponder what we've learned from the past 17 months. There's no way to sugarcoat what our world, our industry, and our company and our people have been through during this horrible pandemic. It's been horrific. But Socrates said that smart people learn from everything, and we've learned a lot from our experience with COVID-19. Some of those learnings actually confirm things that we at the Royal Caribbean Group already knew, but perhaps we didn't acknowledge often enough. There are three specific learnings that come to mind. The first lesson, as always, is that people are the key to success. This has never been more true than during the past year and a half. The way our people responded to the crisis has been extraordinary. I can't begin to express my appreciation for their effort, their sacrifices, and their passion. They worked hard, but more importantly, they worked smart. Whether it was developing new health and safety protocols, finding ways to support our crew, retrofitting ships with new air filters and remodeled medical centers, whatever it was, our people stepped up time and time again to turn what if into why not? And then they did it. We also confirmed how much we depend on our partners, beginning with all of you, our travel advisors. For many of our guests, you've been the closest, most trusted source of information about when we would restart sailing and what vacations would look like when we did. The reassurances that you provided that we would continue to deliver fantastic, unforgettable vacation experiences were essential. Now, the second learning was the importance of preparation. We entered the pandemic with a strong safety culture and the resources we needed to get us through. We were realistic about what might be, but we were not paralyzed by it. As a result, we always gave ourselves a runway to take any necessary action, and that approach proved very successful. At the beginning, we could have prepared for the worst and ignored the likely. Finding that balance put us in the strong position that we're in today. Now, the third key learning was that setting ambitious goals is critical. There were plenty of times when I felt like I should just get into bed, assume the fetal position, and set the electric blanket to 10. The pandemic was creating chaos worldwide, and what chutzpah would make us think that we could do other than just ride the wave and wait for the other side? Well, from the beginning, we set a very ambitious goal. We wanted to be not only just as safe as other places, we wanted to be safer. We established a goal of being safer on board than a ship on Main Street. Many felt that there was an unattainable goal. Some called it naive or unrealistic. Cruising, remember, at the beginning was often portrayed as the poster child of a risky environment. But we all knew, and you all knew, that using science and initiative, we could turn those very characteristics that people were citing as risks into the attributes that made cruising safer. We collaborated with a host of others, with top scientific experts on the Healthy Sail Panel, with governments around the world, with other cruise lines, and yes, ultimately with the CDC. Through this collaboration, we demonstrated that we could achieve much more together than any of us could have separately. I believe that the results are an exemplar to others, both in the field of health and in industry. We've shown that an ambitious goal can be achieved based on hard work and an unemotional review of the facts and the science. People can be protected without requiring them to be locked up. Now, lockdowns are important tools for epidemiologists. Isolation is still the best way to prevent the spread of a disease, especially in the early stages. But it is only a stopgap measure. It's not a viable long-term practice in a free society. The protocols we've developed for cruise ships prove there is another way, that people can be allowed to carry on their lives without causing outbreaks. Today, we have dozens of ships operating with hundreds of thousands of guests every month. There are a few cases of COVID on ships, just as there are cases on land, but they're handled smoothly without disruption. That's the goal, to be better than it is on land. And science has provided us a path that allows people to carry on their lives while dealing simply with the few number of cases. Cruise ships can reduce the famous R factor to a very low number. That's the ultimate goal of epidemiologists, and we are proving that it is achievable. It can be done, and today it can be done better on a cruise ship than almost anywhere else. We're proud of our model, and we believe that the model is a very useful one that can be used as an exemplar in other situations. Now, we're not through with the pandemic yet. The Delta virus is spreading worrisomely in the United States and in other countries. We should worry about the Delta variant and the other variants that will inevitably follow. We shouldn't, though, panic. The science of dealing with the virus keeps advancing. It's important that we think ahead. We need to support providing vaccines to those that don't yet have them. We should keep in mind that while we're focused today on those who have chosen not to get the vaccine, we also need to think of those who would love to be inoculated but can't. This is especially true in parts of the Caribbean, South America, and Africa. There are hundreds of millions of people who have no access to vaccines. Ethically, that should trouble us all. But even practically, that also presents a risk to all of us as the unvaccinated provide an incubator for variants and for spread. The past year and a half have reminded us who we are and what we do best. We are innovators. We seek continuous improvement. We go above and beyond compliance because good enough is never good enough. The cruise industry is back, and we are demonstrating how it can be done. We need to get the word out and start the flywheel spinning for a strong 2022 and a fantastic 2023. But before we get there, wash your hands and please get vaccinated.